In my previous video, I brought it to your attention the story of a nation journalist who covers the Homa Bay area in Nyanza, who had escaped his abductors by jumping out of a speeding car. I told you that he was the woman, and I also told you, just take very careful note of this, that the woman in the car was linked to the Migori governor, Bwana Okoth Obado. I told you that the woman's name was Sharon, but I didn't have a second name. However, now I have a second name, and unfortunately and sadly, that woman is no more. A few hours ago, her badly mutilated body was found in a forest in Homa Bay, known as Kodere Forest, and the police are now treating the kidnapping of journalist Barack Odor as an attempted murder case. Now, in my view, not legally, just in my view, this is a double homicide, because the late Sharon Otieno was 7 months pregnant. Now, journalist Barack Odor, who escaped death, now it's very clear that he escaped his own death by a whisker, has been economical with the details of this case, and quite rightly so. As a fellow journalist, I understand him completely. He had his story, and there was no way he'd just give out his whole story to the press. The story he himself was looking for to file. But now things have changed, because now it's no longer an attempted kidnapping. It is murder. Now, let me be clearer. The story I'm talking about was not even the story of the attempted abduction. It was the story of Sharon Otieno. This is the story that got Bwana Odor into all these problems in the first place. Now, take careful note of the fact that Bwana Odor does not cover Migori. He doesn't. He covers Homa Bay for the Daily Nation, on Nation newspapers. There's another gentleman who covers Migori. Now, if you're a journalist based in Homa Bay, covering Homa Bay, that does not stop you from doing a story on Nairobi, if you come across such a story, let alone a neighboring county, like in the case of Bwana Odor. And this is precisely what happened. So in other words, the story which Bwana Odor was following was a very huge story, and it almost cost him his life. Part of his story was, of course, Sharon Otieno. Now, let us piece together the information we have so far, because after we do that, we'll be able to know what big story this was that almost cost Mr. Odor his life. Now, we have been told that the story was following was concerning Sharon Otieno being impregnated by a senior county official in Migori. He has, of course, not mentioned this senior county official. However, if we backtrack a little, the first statement which Bwana Odor gave us, he said that Sharon was linked to who? Wait for this one. The Migori governor, Bwana Okoth Obado. Now, let's go slowly here, We're just gathering together the facts, solid facts which we have so far. We do not want to speculate. All we are doing is gathering the facts. So stay with me, Now, Bwana Odor went to Migori to meet the personal assistant of the Migori governor, Bwana Okoth Obado. And he went to meet him in connection to this Sharon Otieno story. Now you can begin to join the dots. Now, girls get impregnated by big people all the time. That is the truth. So why did this one lead to murder? Well, you can imagine the president of a certain country impregnating a young girl. It's a huge scandal, and it could even impact on their political life. And what big people normally do is to pay off these girls to keep quiet. Now, if we can follow our train of thought, which is linked to solid facts, whatever story that Bwana Barack Odor was following up, which was linked to Sharon Otieno, would easily have been killed by killing both. And so the bodies of both Barack Odor and Sharon Otieno would have been found at Kodere Forest. No clues, no evidence, nothing. Just another unsolved homicide. And sadly, there are just too many of those in Kenya these days. But just one thing went wrong. In this case we are talking about, one thing, just one, went terribly wrong. Barack Odor jumped out of a speeding car. He survived, and he had all the information. Now a lot of Kenyans are just wondering how stupid these people who committed this heinous crime were. Why did they go ahead and murder the poor young lady when they knew that there's a witness at large? Well, there's an answer. Let's just piece this together. You will remember from Bwana Barack Odor's account that the person who called him, who lured him into this meeting where he was abducted together with Sharon, was Bwana Michael Oyamo, personal assistant to Migori governor, Okoth Obado. Odor told us that at some point Bwana Oyamo left the vehicle. The car was stopped, he got out, and both Barack Odor and the late Sharon Otieno were left in the car together with the goons. Now the way these goons work, you pay them money to do a job. You pay them money to kill. And normally the procedure is, don't contact us until it is done. So the two persons have already been released. To those people have been given the contract. One of them escapes. They can't find the other. And really what their job is to kill. They have no time, neither do they have the expertise to piece together things. So they say to themselves, we must collect our money, the balance. So let's finish off with this one, and then we'll deal with that other one later. But let us look at another possible scenario. Whoever had been given the contract, have this situation where one of the people has escaped, but they still have the other. So they contact the person who gave them the contract. What do we do? One has escaped, we still have one. And the person who gave the contract, panics. They stop thinking. Panic is an emotion, and all emotions badly cloud judgment. So they decide, we have already committed a crime. This is kidnapping. The lady already knows too much. She has seen the faces of the kidnappers. There's no other option here. She must be killed. We shall deal with the other man later. We can always find him in hospital. This is why, in my view, the wisest thing Barack Odor did was to reveal the whole story and have it published in the press. That has greatly cushioned him from a second attempt on his life. And it has really messed up things for those who are behind this terrible, terrible crime. Now, Mr. Michael Oyamo, the personal assistant to Okoth Obado, has been arrested. Actually, he was arrested yesterday, Tuesday, a day before the body was found. Now, I have reason to link his arrest and the finding of the body. There are plenty of clues to suggest that his arrest led to the finding of the body. In which case, this would suggest that the police have a lot more information than what we're reading in the media. It would suggest that they're almost concluding the investigations. That what they're doing right now is just putting together the evidence. They have the facts. Now is just to put together the evidence that can stand up in a court of law. If I am correct, this is great news. It will not bring back poor Sharon Otieno, but at least justice will be done. My advice to anybody involved in the business of murder, in the gory business of murder, this is not the time. This is the wrong season for getting away with murder. Since last year, there have just been too many cases of murders gone wrong, especially where they're linked to big people, big, powerful people. You know the Idris Mukhtar case, the former Garissa finance executive who was shot 3 times and somehow survived. You know the case of Tundu Lissu in Tanzania, whose car was sprayed with over 30 bullets from an automatic weapon and the guy survived. You know the case of Bobby Wine, who was seated in a car and then left that seat because that particular car had no driver, the driver was not around, and moved to another vehicle. and somebody else came and sat exactly where Bobby Wine was seated, and moments later, that person was dead. I'm of course talking about his driver. I have strong reason to believe that those soldiers, in killing that driver, believed that they had killed Bobby Wine. Now there's this case where a double homicide was planned in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, but somehow one of the people who was supposed to be killed jumped out of a speeding car, and that messed up the plans big time. So if you're in the business of murder, my advice, very strong advice, this is the wrong season, and retire. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.